Hey guys, it's Anthony. Did you go out and watch Revenge of the Sith in the theaters the other weekend? I did not. I actually went 20 years ago when the film first released, and I cannot believe it's been 20 years. That is just wild. 20 years ago, I was in high school and went to go see the movie with my friends at midnight when it opened. Uh, I can't believe it. Time has flown by. I actually got a notice for my 20th high school reunion coming up. I'm probably not going to go. I should to show everybody that I'm not bald and fat yet. But yeah, 20 years. That's just very hard to believe that I was. It was 20 years ago that I had a reputation in school that I was known for really, really liking Star Wars, particularly in this one class that I took. It was sort of a speech class. We had to give multiple speeches throughout the course, um, and that's when people started knowing me as a guy that loved Star Wars because I would mention Star Wars in every speech. Just not every speech would be totally about Star Wars, but I would at least mention it. That includes the prequels. I'm not a prequels hater, never been. I've always loved them. Not somebody that just retroactively likes them because the Disney version of Star Wars is just awful. I've always loved the prequels. In fact, Episode 1 is the movie that got me into Star Wars as a whole. I saw it when I was 14. That's not when it came out, but that's when I saw it. And then I got super excited and wanted to see Episode 2 right away. And Episode 2 was awesome because of the Yoda fight. He was just flipping around, and that just made me nerd out as a nerd. Episode 1 I like. I don't think is as bad as everybody thinks because I thought Qui-Gon is an awesome Jedi, probably my second favorite Jedi after Yoda. And Darth Maul was badass. We can't deny that. Even if you hated that movie, come on, you have to like Darth Maul, I think. I mean, unless it messes with your headcanon, but just from an action character standpoint, Darth Maul is pretty badass. Don't get me wrong, the original trilogy are the superior movies, but I actually think the prequels are superior to the originals in two big ways, and that is the action scenes. Star Wars is a very action heavy movie, and the choreography and the special effects. Well, I mean, some people would argue about special effects, but whatever. Just the lightsaber battles were just top notch in the prequels, and also the world building, which Star Wars just that's the heart of Star Wars, I think, the world building. Much easier to just be completely sucked in through the prequel trilogy than the original trilogy, I feel. Anyway, I loved the prequels, never hated them. Not only would I say that they got me into Star Wars, but they got me into nerdy stuff as a whole, because prior to that, I was into nerdy things, but it was just, I had two major nerdy loves, Super Mario, and before that, Garfield. And those are nerdy things, but they were more cartoonish nerdy things. With Star Wars Episode 1 and 2, they really got me into just Star Wars is like a big nerd fandom. And from then I started branching out into other nerd stuff like Zelda, I started liking. So as you can imagine, me liking Star Wars, I was not a particularly popular kid. At least not until like before senior year I wasn't popular. And then senior year I got popular actually because of that class. So what happened was people started understanding that I was funny. I actually did a set of stand-up, like 5 minutes, between musical performances at a garage show my friends did. Somebody in that class saw me. When that class started, he said, "Oh, I've seen him do stand-up. He's very good," to our whole class. And this was before I wanted people to know I was funny, because that seemed like it would be like a bad thing to be in school. And I was just like, oh crap. But eventually I did a speech, and people laughed, so I guess I became the funny kid, which was great. Actually, the first speech that I remember making everybody laugh was actually about Star Wars. I was talking about Star Wars characters, and I did a little joke about Princess Leia, and I called her the more than the damsel in distress, but I gave her the line, "If you save me, I'll let you dock your X-Wing in my hangar," and it got a big laugh out of people. So, yeah, that's how I got the reputation for liking Star Wars, and for being funny. And people liked seeing me do speeches so much, in fact, that the teacher like basically used me as a threat of punishment. Like there literally was a incident where like the class was being rowdy, and she was just like, "If you guys don't calm down, Anthony does not get to give his speech," which to this day, of course, that makes me feel very, very prideful. So if I remember accurately, it was May 19th that the movie was coming out. May 19th, 2005. Uh, I was, of course, the big Star Wars fan, so I had to go. Apparently, a bunch of other people in my class wanted to go too. So my teacher, because I made so many speeches that alluded to Star Wars, knew because we were having presentations like that week. She was just like, "Okay, I know he's gonna go to see Star Wars at midnight, so I'm not gonna schedule him for the day after because he's just not gonna come into school." And I'm not a senior cut day kid. Like I would always go to class. Like that was just. I'm surprised my parents let me do it too. Just let me go to Star Wars at midnight during the middle of the week, but I guess they did. Yeah. So my teacher knew not to schedule me for that day, and then make me the following day, that Friday, because I was the class's headliner. But yeah, this speech is not particularly funny. Me talking to you because I'm just reminiscing. But yeah, when I prepare a speech back then, when I prepared a speech, everybody loved it. Anyway, so yeah, I remember my friend Joe. He picked me up. I was like the fourth kid he picked up that night, and then we went to pick up my friend Eric. So we ended up going. Probably about 12 or 15 of us were all there to watch the movie, and I was getting really excited because I loved episode 1 and 2 so much, and the original trilogy. I don't think that I had the original trilogy on DVD yet, so I probably didn't love them as much. I think they put episodes 1 and 2 on before, so that really helped me get into those movies much earlier than I did them. But yeah, so I was really into those movies. The movie starting, we have to sit through these boring previews. One of them was for the TV show One Tree Hill, and then like we saw the ad, and then I just shouted at the screen, "Yeah, 'cause Star Wars fans love One Tree Hill," and it got a laugh out of my friends. Then the movie starts, and just for like a tiny little second, I get very worried because the opening crawl starts, and the first word is war, followed by an exclamation point, like somebody was about to go like, "Whoa, whew, good God, yo!" Because that was a bad opening crawl. Just so I got worried. Is this whole movie gonna suck? Oh no! But it didn't. It was awesome. Yoda kicked ass again. Obi-Wan kicked ass. R2-D2 saved the day, which he has to do because if he doesn't, it's not a Star Wars movie. I don't give a shit what anybody says. If it's a true Star Wars saga movie, R2-D2 has to save the day. Case closed. Yeah, it was just great. I thought the world building was great again. My only complaints really are just some of the acting. Like Natalie Portman is just awful in that movie. I don't think it's her fault. I think George Lucas probably told her to give a bad performance. He doesn't seem great at working with actors. So some of her acting, not great. And also that notorious no from Darth Vader at the end, that was terrible. But everything else I fucking loved. I felt it tied all the loose ends from the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy together very nicely. Like all the pegs fell into place, and it was just this wonderful, wonderful thing. And it actually became my favorite movie of all time. It still is. I know I'm gonna get a lot of judgment for that, but I love Revenge of the Sith. Probably somebody who wants to work in film shouldn't say Revenge of the Sith is their favorite movie, but I don't give a shit. It's my favorite movie. It was an amazing night. Quite the contrast to 10 years later, when Disney would release their version of Star Wars, and I went with about 15 other people, and Han, Luke, and Leia never unite, and we're watching, and something happens to Han that gets me to audibly say, "Fuck that," Slept the next day instead of going to school. Day after, gave my speech. Everybody fucking howled. I even brought a little Mr. Potato Head, Darth Vader themed Mr. Potato Head called Darth Tater to use as a prop in my class, which everybody found amusing. Um, great, great experience. As you can imagine, since I am drawn to Star Wars, I'm not the most sociable person in the world, and there weren't too many days or nights that I actually left home and hung out with friends. I stayed in most of the time. And that night is a night that I look at very fondly. It's just, me and some friends that cared enough about me to invite me out and go see what would become my favorite movie. I did not go and see it this past month because I didn't know it was out. I had no idea it was returning to theaters limited release. So this video was supposed to be about me sharing my memory, but also, side note, I wanted to just say, movie industry, you're messing up. I need to know your movies are coming out. I would love to go and watch it again. I'm not near my friends right now, so I wouldn't have been able to go with them. They all have families probably anyway, so, can't get them away from the wife and kids to go see the movie. But, yeah, I would have loved to maybe go, spend the money, see it in theaters. It's a recurring problem, Hollywood. I don't know your movies are coming out. That Looney Tunes movie that came out, I didn't know that was coming out either. I found out the day before I was on the treadmill at the gym. I saw an ad for it. No sound because it's a treadmill at the gym. And just, you have a lot of problems, movie industry. A lot of problems recently. That one is a very solvable problem, and you're making things worse for yourself. So please, I know things are different because, it used to be we all watched cable TV and you could see the ad for the movies just in between your show. Now cable is just all ads, so nobody watches it. But there's gotta be a way, because I watch movie channels on YouTube and I still have no idea about a lot of these movies coming out. So, I don't know, maybe just better YouTube ads, or I don't know, just advertise better on streaming platforms in between segments on the platforms that still have ads. I'm obviously not going to see an ad for you guys on Netflix, but I don't know, buy some ad time on Prime or Hulu or something. I don't know. I just want to know your movies are coming out. Yeah, it kind of sucks being a Star Wars fan these days, because one of the great things about Star Wars was just how it brought you together with other people that were otherwise kind of cast out of society, and you could get together and geek out about Star Wars. Maybe it's just because, again, I'm 20 years past high school, but the opportunities to do that are just, not as great. But I would actually say that it's kind of Disney's fault, and they just diluted the product. As soon as I heard Disney was getting Star Wars, I just was like, oh fuck, because I just think it was contained in 6 movies, and that 6 movies was perfect and special, and just I knew they were gonna make more movies, and the more they make, the more likely that you have of something, the less special it is. So just I think we need to go back to that. And it's hard to be a Star Wars fan now. Fans are still united, but we're united in being hurt, and just how passionless we've gotten over Star Wars, and that sucks. I hate that happened. I still love Star Wars, still love those movies. Just, I'm not as big of a geek about those as I am now. Kind of Nintendo has eclipsed Star Wars as just my main nerd obsession. But I still do love Star Wars, and I'm hoping it has some sort of renaissance soon. I secretly have always wanted to do Star Wars 7, 8, 9. Disney did them for me, but, I guess in my wildest dreams I somehow buy Star Wars from Disney and just erase those from canon and make my own movies that I think would be vastly superior and more loved by the fan base. But, that's not gonna happen. But I can dream. I've got other great memories of Star Wars, including when I bought the Darth Vader voice changer helmet. I'm that big of a nerd to own that. And this actually R2D2 cookie jar. No, it does not beep, as I told my professor once. Have a plastic lightsaber. I once bought my best friend from high school at the time the original trilogy on DVD, and he gave me a big hug. Sadly, we had a little falling out, but that's still a memory that I look at very fondly. But yeah, thanks for listening to apparently an old guy ramble about his favorite movie. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you.